those are the headlines and our top focus. In Russia's Nizhny Novgorod region, one civilian was injured after debris from intercepted drones fell to the ground. Now, according to the governor, air defenses repelled an attack involving around 20 drones targeting the industrial zone of Zerzinsk. The falling debris caused several small fires and minor damage to homes and a gas station, although officials confirmed no industrial sites were hit. Meanwhile, Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has reiterated that Budapest will not support Ukraine's bid to join the European Union, stating that no country can blackmail its way into the EU bloc. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Glenn Grant, former advisor to the Ukrainian Defense Minister, joining us from Riga in Latvia. Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Fresh statements coming in from Viktor Orban. He has stated that he will not support Ukraine's bid to join the EU. He claims that no country can blackmail its way into the bloc. What do you make of these statements that have been put out?
Well, we all know by now that Orban is working for Russia. I mean, he's an oligarch. He's rich. He's playing power games. And frankly, it's disgusting for a country that was actually invaded by Russia. Hungary seems to have forgotten its history. And there's no blackmail. I don't see any blackmail from anybody. I mean, Ukraine is fighting for its survival and it wants help. And joining the EU would help it, bringing in a whole raft of new ways of working and ideas, and they need it badly. So Orban is just being, frankly, a nasty piece of work.
Indeed. And, what do you make of the recent statements coming in from Andrej Babis, who's recently won the Czech parliamentary elections? He's also claimed that Ukraine is not ready to join the European Union, and he's further stated that supplying Ukraine with ammunition should be NATO's responsibility.
I think, I mean, this is another pro-Russian politician. I think what we need to look at is the wider subject, which is that basically every Western country and US, especially US, has been infiltrated by Russians and Russian money over the last, let's say, 100 years. And probably almost every country in the world has been infiltrated and people have been bought. And what we're now seeing is that this is part of the Russian game of pushing as many of their people into power in countries as possible. And all of that goes against Ukraine, because every time you get another one, like the new Czech Prime Minister, they do their absolute best to reduce the ability of Ukraine to survive against Russia.
All right, so I request you to stay on with us. We're tracking some other very crucial developments. In Washington, US President Donald Trump has stated that he has sort of made a decision on whether to supply Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine or not. Now, speaking at the Oval Office, Trump has stated that he wants clarity on how the weapons would be used, calling the Russia-Ukraine war a conflict that should never have started in the first place. Now, his comments come after Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that any US move to send these long-range missiles would destroy relations with Moscow. Listen in to what Trump has to say.
Yeah, I've sort of made a decision, pretty much, if you consider. Yeah, I think I want to find out what they're doing with them.
Yes.
Where are they sending them, I guess. I'd have to ask that question. That war should never have started, would have never started. Such bad judgment was used there. I think on both sides, by the way. But nobody looks good with the war with Russia and Ukraine. Nobody. That's been a horrible. This week they lost over 7,000 soldiers between the two of them. This is every week they're losing 7,000, 8,000, 5,000.
Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Glenn Grant. We've just heard what Donald Trump has had to say. He said that he's sort of made a decision on whether to supply Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. How do you infer this statement?
Well, I infer exactly the same as he's been doing for the last couple of years, 3 years, which is delay, which is a typical Russian FSB playbook game of talk loud and then actually not do anything. And that is exactly what he's doing. He knows it full well where these missiles will be used. And he doesn't need to ask anything else. But this is a game. And it's about time the truth actually came out with these things, that this man is actually working on behalf of Russia. He supports Putin. He doesn't support Zelensky. And he does everything to down Zelensky and to not support Ukraine properly in the way that a Western country should do. I don't think he realizes what he's losing by this, but America is losing by not supporting Ukraine.
And do you think then the recent comments made by Putin warning the United States that sending the Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine would destroy relations, do you think Putin is emboldened by the fact that Trump is delaying and he's just buying time with his statements?
Oh, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, he knows that Trump's his man, and he knows that Trump is going to delay. And Putin will use anything to let's say scare the populations of the West, we all know he's lying. We all know that it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to what Russia does, because he hasn't actually got any capacity. But he's got words, and he uses those words extremely skillfully and powerfully. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe him.
Indeed, and what's interesting is that we're also seeing some of the countries, some NATO countries such as France now take action against Russia's shadow fleet. Could we then expect other countries to follow suit and sort of pressurize Russia in the Baltic Sea?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think one of the problems is all the countries around the Baltic Sea are very pro-NATO and I'm wanting to listen to what NATO says and does before they act individually, with probably the exception of Finland and Estonia. But even they are, in a way, duty-bound to follow the NATO line. We've heard talk about this. I mean, for the last 6 months, we've heard talk that we could close off the Baltic Sea and stop the Russian fleet going in and out. But basically nothing has happened. I don't see anything happening in the near future. France only stopped one ship and it's been stopped before. So we're not actually seeing anything of any value. I'm sorry, but this is the weak West being weak against a strong Russia.
All right, so with that, I would like to thank you for taking out time, sharing your perspective with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, we're shifting our focus away from